You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
Welcome back to the program. I'm joined now by Representative Tara Shephard. She's a Democrat of Little Rock, and I'm joined by Kirk Lane. He is the former state drug czar, and he is head of the Arkansas Opioid Recovery Partnership, which the first question out of the gate is going to be, what is the Arkansas Opioid Recovery Partnership? I know what it is, but I want you to tell everybody.
It's a partnership that's developed between the Arkansas Municipal League and the Association of Arkansas Counties to help push out the settlement money that those two entities got.
And how much is that settlement money?
It's
a lot.
Probably north of $250 million and still climbing.
Yeah, and where will it go? How will you
It's mainly, we're focusing our dollars in cities and counties, small programs. Where the state is not funding, we're funding.
All right. Representative Shephard, you passed some legislation in this last legislative session, your first legislative session, you freshman phenomenon there. Yeah. So it would require opioid overdose kits to be on every campus of every school and higher education campus in the state of Arkansas. Where did the idea for this originate?
So I ran off I'm sorry, first of all, thank you for having me here today. I ran off a campaign that I would protect children. I am a former licensed alcohol and drug abuse counselor, and we know based on surveys given to our college students that most drug use starts between the ages of 16 to 20 years old. And so as part of my campaign promise, I want to ensure that our children were protected. And so this particular piece of legislation requires that there are overdose rescue kits on public high schools as well as state-supported colleges and universities.
All right. But there wasn't a specific event that caused it's just life experience and what you know from,
Yes, life experiences.
I'm going to assume you would be supportive of that in all of the hats that you have worn and did wear. What did you think when that legislation started to develop, and what do you think the impact could be?
We were totally supportive. You know, we had worked in the wings of that, helping her with that legislation based on, from my previous role, my previous hat, providing naloxone, which is the big part of that kit. It's an opioid antagonist that allows somebody to breathe during an opioid overdose to school nurses throughout the state, but really didn't get the buy-in that we needed. We felt that legislation was the place to make it happen, and to make that grow, and since that time have received countless calls on how to do that. And we stand supportive with funding, and the state is in a good place to provide funding through some of the funding apparatus that they have, and we will back them up on where they can't succeed. So.
Representative Shephard, what do you think the potential impact for this will be, and kind of refresh people in terms of the debate? It's been a few months. You got to give everybody a little bit of a pass there, but did you meet much resistance in this? What was the argument that you found most persuasive?
No, I didn't have any resistance at all. Actually, there were a total of 32. There were 32 sponsors. Well, I, of course, sponsored the bill in addition to my co-sponsors. And Senator Chesterfield carried it on the Senate side. When we had a vote on the House floor, I received 99 votes in support of it.
Wow.
Absolutely.
What did you think about that? As a freshman, you were like...
I was blown away.
Yeah.
And the only one that didn't vote was because he was out of the room at the time, you know, but he was a sponsor, co-sponsor of the bill. So the entire House of Representatives supported this legislation. And on the Senate side, Senator Chesterfield carried the bill, and we had 32 votes over on the Senate side. And so I also had 6 senators that co-sponsored the bill as well.
Well, you got a better winning percentage than she does, so we'll make sure that we point that out for her.
I love senators.
So there is a congressman from Georgia, I think, that has adopted this measure at the state level and wants to carry this to the federal level. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I received contact from Congressman Carter's office. He's a Republican out of Georgia, and he mentioned that this was a phenomenal bill and that he wanted to mirror it for federal legislation. So I traveled to Washington maybe 2 weeks ago, and I met with congressmen, and we held a couple of interviews and discussed this legislation, and that this was not a partisan issue. This is about saving lives. Roughly 300 Americans a day die from opioid overdose. And so we want to work together to show that we can, in fact, do something to save lives.
Yeah, I'm not asking y'all to make political predictions, but I am. What do you think the chances are something like this gets adopted at the federal level? Do you think there's enough
I think it's very
state
high.
support there?
Like the representative said, it's very nonpartisan, and we've seen momentum grow not only in our own state but around the country to make a difference to stop this. It's infecting everybody, or affecting everybody too. So a lot of people want a change and want to do the right thing. I quickly say that we can defeat the opioid epidemic. We just want to. We just have to want to. Yeah. And I think a lot of people want to.
What else are you doing with the Opioid Recovery Partnership that just to help everybody understand what else is involved?
We've been operational since November of last year. We've gotten 148 proposals to date, over 107 million in ask. We funded $17.5 million in programs. A lot of that naloxone is we pushed out. We'll by the end of next week, we will probably push out about 36,000 naloxone kits just in Arkansas and cities and counties, local law enforcement, city and county law enforcement, schools, 40 different what we call hero programs, teaching community members to carry naloxone. We're seeing a big difference. That's over 70,000 dosage units pushed into 3 million population is what we're putting out there. We're starting to see some changes take place. People are saving people before first responders arrive, and it's saving lives. Yeah. We're starting to see our numbers start to go down, probably contributed to all the education, the naloxone that's out there, and people being educated about the dangers of drugs that we have in our society today. Yeah. We funded 219 recovery beds in expansion of what the state is doing in small communities all throughout Arkansas, and we're growing on that. 61 beds for women, 158 for men. We funded 20 peer recovery specialists so far, and we're growing. 7 overdose response teams throughout Arkansas.
So what you're saying is you've been busy.
We've been busy. We've been busy.
All right, I got to come close to wrapping up here. Representative Shephard, what are you going to do for your next act? I mean, come on. This is going to be a hard one. You out of the park home run.
And I shared with someone I don't want to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it.
I'm going to continue to fight for the state of Arkansas. That's what I'm going to do.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Representative Shephard, Kirk Lane, thank you both for being here today. Very much appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing on this front too. Very important stuff, very important work. Keep it up.
Thank you.